Okay, so we're going to begin this session lying flat on the mat and just take an opportunity for a oasis of calm in the middle of what is our busy lives. So this moment of Shavasana before we begin, to bring the focus into the body and create the conditions for restorative, therapeutic movement. Wonderful. Breathing in and out through the nostrils, accessing the diaphragm more so as a result. Slow, full breaths. And set the intention for this practice today as we move together on the mat. It might be to feel more relaxed. It could be to have a good stretch. Whatever it is, yoga is the perfect antidote to our modern lives. So without further ado, let's get stuck in and begin with the heels in line with the hip joints and a little bit of pelvic rocking to begin with. So rolling the pelvis in towards you and away from you. Imagine that marble on the front of you, rolling in towards you and then away from you. And this time, rolling the pelvis in, we're going to peel the spine all the way up onto the shoulder blades. Breathe in at the top and breathe out as we lower bit by bit, bone by bone, all the way to the tailbone. So roll in, peel the spine up and away. Breathe in at the top. Breathe out as we lower bit by bit by bit by bit, all the way to the tailbone. Shoulder blades heavy underneath the back of you. And then come to be at the top. And so let's hold this position as we float the arms all the way up overhead and then lower the body bit by bit by bit. And last of all, the tailbone and then the arms. So breathe out, feel the spine up and away. Breathe in, float the arms up overhead. Breathe out, lower the body bit by bit by bit, and then the arms last of all. Do that one more time, peeling the spine up and away. Breathe in, float the arms up overhead. Breathe out as you lower the body bit by bit by bit, and then the arms last of all. And then let's glue the legs together and rock the knees from side to side. So I want you to feel those muscles at the waist, lengthening as you go to the side, shortening on the return journey, and rolling the head from side to side. And so we can float the arms up overhead as we turn at the waist, and the same thing going the other way. So reaching the arms up overhead, as you rotate the knees to the side, and always allowing the breath to flow in and out of the body as we do this. And one more time this way. And back to the centre. So hug two knees tightly in towards the chest. Rock around, massaging the back of the body. And then place a hand on top of each knee, and we're going to circle at the hip joints. So bringing up those hips, mobilising the hip joints. And then going the other way. Feel into the joint. So you might feel an area where there's a sensation, a catch, a feeling of stiffness perhaps. And then go the other way. So the more that we move the joints, the more that we sculpt the articular surfaces. And so you might feel that any catch or sensation diminishes as you continue to mobilise at the hip joints. Wonderful. And then come to the centre. So I'm hugging one knee tightly into the chest and reaching the other leg away. So this particular movement is really about opening the hip joint of the leg that is reaching away along the ground, so that we've got that sense of opening. Opening the hip joint. Breathe in, and we can send the breath to any areas of sensation, and that could be, in this case, the front of the hip joint. And then holding onto the outside of the knee with the opposite hand, I'm rotating that knee across the front of me. At the same time, reaching the arm alongside or out to the side and the gaze towards the hand. And I'm trying to keep my shoulder blade down into the ground as I do this. And breathe into the rib cage. So we will feel somewhat constricted in this position. And then as you exhale, a little less constricted. Perfect. Wonderful. So coming back to the centre, hugging the two knees tightly in towards the chest. And let's do the same thing on the other side. So hugging the knee tightly in. You could use two hands on the front of your knee, or a knee on the hand, a hand on the knee and a hand on the shin. And breathing in and out in this position. Reaching and opening the front of the hip joint. The chin is in, the neck is long. Allowing the breath to generate release in the tissues, but also release in the mind. Wonderful. And now, opposite hand outside the knee, rotating the reaching arm, turning and looking along the reaching arm towards the hand. Breathe in and out, feeling this rotation around the axis of the spine. Breathe into the ribs. Exhale. And you might find that the knee goes a little further. So returning back to centre, hugging the knee tightly into the chest and bending the resting leg. And this time, a flossing technique. for the hamstrings, the sciatic nerve. So I'm holding the knee still in space and bending and straightening the leg at the knee joint. So you don't want to feel like your leg is coming away from you at this point. You are holding the leg still in towards the chest. And swap sides, hug the knee in. So the resting leg is bent or straight, depending on how supple your body feels. And so we have this oscillation at the knee, bend and extend. Wonderful. And so hugging two knees in, we're going to roll up, cross the legs, and come to sit. Here in this seated position, let's draw big circles with the nose, feeling the movement of the neck, and disregard any snap, crackle, or pop. And then go the other way. Drawing circles with the nose. You can start smaller and get bigger, grow those bigger circles. And then looking the eyes ahead of you. Tip the ear to the shoulder. And then the other side. Very good. Chin nods towards the chest. Look the eyes ahead of you. And now turn, look over the shoulder. Very good. Fingers on shoulders. Let's do big circles with the shoulder joints. Mobilizing the shoulders. Big circles. And the other way. And so all the while, just focus inwards with the breath. And actually, we can close the eyes here if we're not in danger of falling over. That can really enhance that connection with the inner workings. Elbows touch and open. So breathe out, breathe in. And wonderful. And then rest the arms out beside, and we're going to bend and extend the elbows. Bend, extend. Keep the breath flowing in and out of the body. And actually the breath provides us with a cue, or a clue, I should say. And the clue is that when we feel inclined to hold our breath, we know that the movements are erring on the side of a little bit more strenuous. And so focus your mind on keeping the breath flowing. And if you find that's impossible, then you need to modify the movements and make them a little bit more achievable. Very good. I'm sure that took your mind off those shoulders, didn't it? And then clasp the hands, and we'll just warm up the wrists, ready for load bearing. It's really important that we warm up the wrists. I'm going the other way. This movement to lubricate and mobilize the wrist joints. Arms at the side of you, reach up and out of the waist, and really that sense of grounded with the sitting bones into the ground, and then the arm reaching alongside the ear. Breathe in and out, and you could turn the head and just look up underneath the armpits here. Soften the supporting arm, and then swap sides. Soften the supporting arm. Arm alongside the ear, and I'm spreading my fingers wide to encourage taking up the tension throughout the myofascial system. And breathe it into the rib cage. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. And then come back to the center. So let's come over the knees onto all fours next. So we can dispense with our support just for the time being. Hands ahead of shoulders, fingers spreading wide, and sinking into the hollow, and then tucking and rounding. And really focus on the lumbar spine as you round, more than the upper back. The upper back's always really good at rounding. And when you sink into the hollow, I'm not just allowing this passive dumping of the spine or drooping of the belly, but actually more of a lengthening sensation in the front of me, shining the breastbone forwards towards the front edge of the mat. And then breathe out, round, look towards the knees, breathe in, sink into that hollow, shining the breastbone forwards, breathe out, and breathe in. Wonderful. So you can breathe in and out through the nostrils the whole time, or you may, on occasion, want to let off some steam and blow out through the lips. And that's your preference. Spread the fingers wide, elbows just very slightly unlocked, rounding, think of the lumbar spine. And wonderful. So come to be in that mid position. I'm bumping the hips from side to side. Shortening at the waist. Really think of those muscles at the waist. And then we can allow the whole of the spine to join in with this. Turning and looking over the shoulder. And make sure you're keeping the head high, not drooping the head. So the head's more or less in line with the back of your body as you move. And wonderful. So send the seat back, belly between the thighs. So the knees apart, forehead to the ground, stretching off the low back. Big inhale, and of course you can rest at any time in this child's pose. And then slowly coming forwards, hovering one leg, and draw big circles at the hip joints. So mobilizing the hip joints yet again, but also in this position now we're encouraging the stabilizing muscles of the core to be active when we move this leg around and go the other way. So drawing circles at the hip and keeping everything else relatively still as you do, lengthening through the back of the neck. And now swap sides. So you want to minimize the sway. When you look down, ideally this thigh is as vertical as possible, drawing that big circle at the hip joint. Allowing the breath to flow as you move, and then go the other way. Smooth, coordinated, flowing movements. And then come back to center. So sending the tip of the toe to the ceiling, round, knee to nose, and then arch, tip of the toe up. So Resist overarching the lumbar spine. Think about the hip extending and the upper back shining that torchlight forwards out of the breastbone. And breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Now tucking the toes, swapping the other side. We're tucking the toes in a minute. Look up, knee to nose. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And make this one the last one. Tucking the toes and set the seat back towards the heels. So sitting in this position can be somewhat uncomfortable, particularly if you feel you have stiff toe joints. So, but it is, even in the presence of discomfort, if we can hold it for a short period of time. My toe doesn't like it. One of my big toes doesn't like it, and what you find is the pain builds as you're doing it. So, you can tolerate it for so long, and then you get to the point where you're thinking, oh, no, I can't stand it anymore. The danger when you're in pain is you start to avoid putting the load in that side, which in this case for me is this side. So make sure your pelvis is square and level, and the weight is even through the two sides. Perfect. So coming back onto all fours. Untuck those toes. And we're going to lower the body slowly down towards the ground. This a bit like a worm coming towards the ground. And then up onto the forearms, pubic bone heavy into the ground, unraveling the upper back, and a sense of length through the back of the neck. So that when we're in these extended positions, lifting the head is one thing. And oftentimes, the suggestion is that you look up, which is fine, but I want you to think of looking up, starting at the base of your neck and ending with the tipping of the head on the spine. Shining the breastbone forwards and pulling through. Breathe in and out. And a little bit of energy in the bottom muscles just to protect the spine. And I'm allowing the legs to roll out just very slightly. Breathe in and out. So we can extend one arm, bit of extension and rotation, and then the same thing on the opposite side. So see how your body fares with that. For anybody with a spondylolisthesis, this is not something that you would want to be doing. Too much extension with a spondylolisthesis is not desirable. It's not a desirable thing. And so let's come on down, and take the support underneath the forehead, reach the arms away overhead, and you're going to hover one arm and then the other. And keeping the head resting down for the time being, one arm and then the other. And it's just a shallow hover. And in an ideal world, you want to feel like the lifting is coming from the muscles around the shoulder blade. And the arm is hovering just above the ground. And then let's introduce the opposite leg. So this position on the ground. And so it's really important to engage those tummy muscles when you're doing this, to prevent the spine from overarching and to keep the pelvis really still on the ground in the front of you, so that the bony landmarks, the pubic bone and the pointy hip bones are not rocking around as we're doing this. And then we could hover the head in the same, that was the same arm leg, in the same way that I am. But have a sense of reaching the top of the head away from the tailbone, lengthening the upper body away from the ground. And if you have discomfort in your lumbar spine, you could do these maneuvers where they support underneath the front of the low belly and the front of the pelvis. So hovering, and then if you wanted to, you can hover 2 arms and 2 legs, reaching really long like a dart or an arrow, or Superman flying through the air, reaching, lengthening, and then lower it down. And just do that one more time. Reach, lengthen, hover, and lower it down. So bringing one foot in towards the heel, towards your bottom, front of the hip, pressing down into the ground. Breathe in and out again, creating release in these tissues in the front of the thigh. And you want to feel like the front of your hip is pressing down into the ground and opening as you do this. And at the same time, you're retaining this length through the lumbar spine. So breathe in and out. And swap sides. And 2 arms together, 2 legs together. If you wanted to, you can rest on the chin. You can press into the fronts of the feet and extend the upper body away from the ground. And but remember, this is not something for everybody, particularly if you had a spondylolisthesis. So just rest down, turn the seat back towards the feet, and then we're going to just give a moment in child's pose. Stretching off the low back. I'm reaching my right hand all the way on top of my left, off to the side of the mat. And then swapping sides. Breathe in, expanding the back of the body, feeling that stretch all down, slightly off to one side. And then come on up, tuck the toes, and downward facing dog. Walking those heels to the ground, chest to the thighs, arms either side of the ears. Breathe in and out. And belly to the thighs. So chest to the thighs, head hanging between the arms. Walking those heels in, and then drop to the knees and step forwards 1 foot. So the foot is ahead of the knee. That allows me to come into this lunge position. So at the same time, I'm tucking the tailbone underneath to encourage the opposition. And so the stretch in the front of the hip is a little bit more apparent. Reaching the arm up, opposite arm, and then 2 arms if you wanted to. Arms face the center, spread the fingers wide, Breathe in, lift the gaze, lift the chest. Always this energy through the front of the body and the breath flowing in and out. Chin is in, neck is long. Now set the seat back and float the arms all the way up and then forward. So it's an oscillation, front to back. If this is something your knees are not very keen on, then you can pat your knee, you can take care, move slowly, or just have one position and then the other for a few breath cycles. Reaching, inhale forwards, exhale, inhale forwards, exhale. Very good. All right, so hands either side of your front foot and hovering the back knee, so that we are, as much as possible, extending the back knee, shining the breastbone forwards, and I'm resting lightly on the fingertips here. Breathe in, breathe out. So I'm going to hop the feet together, hang forwards in a forward lean, clasp around the elbows and allow the body to hang. And knees can be straight or bent depending on how you feel, and you can rock the baby around the legs. So rocking the baby. Very good. Hands either side of the foot. So I'm stepping back this time so that the other leg is forwards. And we'll be on the other side for our lunge and stretch. Allow the foot to come to rest and then lunging forward. So this tucking of the tailbone that facilitates the opening of the hip joints, energy through the muscles in the front of you as we reach, lift, spread the fingers wide, lift the gaze. A sense of drawing the back knee to the front foot to the back knee, and energy through the whole of the system. Breathe in and out. And then set the seat back and reach the arms behind you. So it's important when you reach behind you not to let the shoulder tip too far forwards or forwards at all. Inhale. Chin is in, neck is long. Inhale. Forwards, exhale. Inhale, forwards. Exhale. Very good. Inhale, forwards. Exhale. Chin is in, neck is long. That's because I'm looking at you. Very good. And reach and then rest the arms either side of the front foot. Tuck the toes underneath. This wonderful runner's stretch, shining the breastbone forward so you don't want to feel like you're too rounded. Unravel the upper back. Breathe in and out. And supports can really make all the difference when it comes to doing these moves in the ideal ergonomic fashion. Perfect. So stepping into the plank position. So to get there, I'm lifting myself up just to make space. Dropping into a plank position. Breathe in and out. energy in the whole of the legs. Turn the seat back, downward facing dog. And sometimes you just need to adjust your feet. Bottom to the ceiling. And then step the feet together. And hang forwards. Let the head be like a bobblehead. Soften the knees, uncurl, reset, reset. And let's take the feet wide. So with the feet wide in this position, we can, I'm going to even do this, look. We can work on the inner thighs just by rocking the pelvis side to side. So you feel those bones in the pelvis rock, and the rest of you is relatively still. So when I go this way, I'm stretching the inner thigh here, and when I go the other way, I'm stretching the inner thigh on the other side. So, and you might feel like you've got one side that's a bit tighter than the other, so you can focus on that. Hold this a little longer, perhaps. Very good. So let's fold forwards at the hips and then reach your fingers down towards your toes. And I'm going to bend one knee, going one way, and stretching on the inner thigh here, and then bend the other way, and stretch on the other side. So you can walk all the way over and lower yourself down. So you've got this stretch on the inner thigh. Breathe in and out. You might even come up to balance. Ooh, it's quite wobbly. And then swap sides. I'm walking my hands across. Coming here, and let the toes lift. So I'm happier on this side, clearly. Breathe in and out. Wonderful. So extend the legs, walk the feet together. Uncurl. Restack, reset the shoulders. So let's come and stand 1 foot forwards, 1 foot back. Have the feet parallel and hip distance apart. And so I'm bending into this front leg and feeling that stretch in the calf. Pelvis facing forwards. And then the option to reach the arms up either side of the ears. You can clasp the hands and make your 007 gun shape. Breathe in and out. Shoulders plugged into the sockets, down away from the ears. And the front knees aiming towards the second toes. And I'm stretching out at the back of the calf here with this. And release the arms down. Reach forwards. Fingers either side of the front foot. Hop in. Extend that front leg. Extend the back leg. And hover. Now, you might have seen yoga experts do this and get the leg right up in the air. Well, not this yoga expert. Very good. So lower the legs, feet together. Uncurl, restack, step back, other side. So your feet are parallel, and that helps you to be a bit more balanced. feet face forwards and bending into the front leg. Breathe in and out. And feel that energy all down the back line of the body. And we can come into this lunge position, lifting the chest, lifting the gaze. Very good. Release the hands, come down. Either side of your front foot. Pop the leg in, extend your front leg, extend the back leg. Oh, if only. And lower it down. Come into a squat. Tiptoe squat. Maybe we can balance high up on the tiptoes. Ooh. Thumbs against the breastbone, palms pressing in towards each other, and that just helps with the balance. Let's come to the knees and set the seat to the side, legs out in front of you. Plug one knee in, open the knee to the side. So the front foot facing the front foot drawing up towards the shin. Sit high up on your bottom bones and reach up, and we're going to rotate towards this bending knee. Turning. You can turn the head, you can turn the spine, you can bring out those abdominal contents again, improving the digestion, the lymphatic flow, the spinal mobility. Turn the head, turn the neck, even the eyes in the sockets, looking round the back of you. Wonderful. Breathe in. Breathe out, take a tie forward. So you really want to feel like your pelvis faces this extending leg, and you're moving at the hip joint more than the upper back, aiming towards the toes. Breathe in and out. And then slowly uncurl. Hand at the back of you, coming up onto this front knee, and then reaching the arm, lift open the chest, and you can turn the gaze to the ceiling. You can spread the fingers wide, palm towards the ground, open toes on the ground. This is one of my favourite positions. It's called Wild Thing. Wild Thing. Wonderful. So let's change sides and plug the other knee in towards the chest. Sit up lovely and tall. You want to really be up tall. Rotate the knee out, and you've got the sole of the foot alongside the inner thigh. Toes join up towards the shin. Sitting up lovely and tall. Breathe in. Breathe out. And turning to the side of the room. Really bringing out sensation around the level of the navel, shoulders down. Breathe in and out. Turn the head, remember, around the axis of the spine with the chin parallel with the ground. And a sense of elongating through the neck the whole time as you go. Breathe in, it feels a bit tight. Breathe out, you might go a bit further. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in back to center. Breathe out. Dive it forwards over this extending leg. Breathe in and out. So you might reach to the ankle. You might reach to the toes. Bobble head, soft and relaxed. Shoulders relaxed and away from the ears. Leg is long. Breathe in and out. Shoulders relaxed. Wonderful. So hand at the side of you, coming up onto this knee, and notice the foot comes flat. And although I'm sideways, I'm just slightly rotating to look towards the ceiling so I can see there up to the ceiling and this line of tension from there all through the front of you. Reach, lengthen, spread the fingers, palm to the ground. Breathe in and out. And make this the next one. Perfect. So I'm going to cross my foot over this knee. Cross right over, hugging around. You can hug round with the elbow. You can take the forearm right the way along the thigh. This hand is coming down at the back of you, and the shoulders parallel with the ground, turning. So this is really good into the bottom muscles on this side, but also the iliotibial band. So that and the spine, obviously, spinal rotation. Turn and look over your shoulder. Turn and look. Bringing out those abdominal contents. So you want to feel like your belly is coming past the thigh. And sometimes you just need to give it a hand. Breathe in and out. Bobble head, soft on the shoulders, soft on the neck. And back to the center. Very good. So let's unravel the legs, aiming for the opposite side now. And you can see here, in an ideal world, your bottom is down onto the ground, rotating the forearm along the thigh, pulling the belly past the thigh, hands at the back of the tailbone, spiral, and you can use that arm to push you up out of the ground as you turn. The more elongated the spine as you turn, the better. Turn, look over your shoulder. Breathe in and out. And come back to center. So let's sit with the soles of the feet together and open the knees to the side. This is another time when having a support at the back of you might just feel like a good thing to do. Allowing the knees to open to the sides. Breathe in and out. All the while growing tall towards the ceiling. Slowing down now. And when you're ready, let's remove the support and come to lie on the back of the body, slowly rolling the spine down to the ground. Extend the legs away from you towards the edges of the mat and really have that sense of occupying as much space on the ground as you can. If you think of the back of your body covered in paint and you're trying to make as much of an impression on the mat as you possibly can. And sometimes you feel like you want to pull your bottom flesh again out from under, just to allow the body to sink down heavily into the ground. Arms away from the sides of the body, feet towards the edges of the mat, and use a head support, a cushion, a blanket, whatever feels appropriate. Bringing the breath into the body through the nostrils. Slow, full breaths. This slow entry of air through the narrowed openings. And really a sense of filling the body with calm and peace and relaxation, but also energy. Oxygen is energy. It's used in every cellular process throughout the body. Well, the majority. And so it is that release of energy from the foods that we consume, combined with the air that we breathe, that provides us with the energy in all our cells. So this efficient entry of air into the body is so very important. Now softening and relaxing every muscle throughout the whole of the body, a sense of relaxation, filling the body and the mind, softening sensation, a letting go, a giving way, a creating a freedom at every cellular level, every body part, softening and relaxing the tissues, the mind. Every aspect of our lives. Brings us to where we are today. Relaxed after our session of movement and rested and ready to move on with the rest of this day. And so bringing energy and movement back into the body, begin to circle the wrists and ankles, wiggle the fingers and toes, perhaps bending the knees to rock the knees from side to side, maybe hugging the knees in towards the chest and rocking around on the back of the body. And then rolling onto your left side, resting briefly in the fetal position. And very slowly pushing yourself up to sit and reawakening the body with friction and heat. And then bringing the palms to rest at the heart center, the thumbs in contact with the breastbone. Breathe in through the nostrils, and as we exhale, that traditional greeting, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this practice, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.